Let us pray. Almighty God, ruler of heaven and earth, we beseech thee to inspire and guide all our counsels and actions, so that we may always walk in the path of justice, love, and charity to one another. Help us with thy grace to do only those things that will promote the unity, happiness, and prosperity of Nigeria. Amen. Distinguished colleagues, let us examine the votes and proceedings of Wednesday, 17th day of July 2024. Distinguished colleagues, and confirm the entries as true reflections of what transpired on that day. Page 107, page 108, page 109, page 110, page 111, page 112, page 113, page 114, Distinguished Senator, my Lord, Sunday Marshall Cartoon.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Sunday Marshall Khartoum. I represent the people of Kaduna South Senatorial District. I'm from
the
Kaduna
Lord
State.
Mayor of Leeds.
Thank you very much for the correction, Your Excellency. I rise to move that the votes and proceedings of Wednesday, 17 July 2024 be approved and adopted as a true reflection of what transpired. I so move, Your Excellency.
Distinguished Senator Eze.
Thank you, Mr. President, distinguished colleague.
So Eze, is that actually your seat?
It's my seat.
Ah, just let
I'm
him just
already
finish.
started.
Okay, Eze, just a minute. Yes, the swing senators don't go
Okay.
there, right?
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm Nasir Sanazangwandera, representing Katsina North.
Yes.
It's just a point of correction. Page 114, number 10, Agricultural Research Council of Nigeria Act Cap thing. If you go by the third line, it says Nabanje Katsina State. It's actually Kepi State. Page 114.
In the bill. That was actually what was in the bill. Uh, that's come again, page 114, line 5. Yes, please. What's your opinion? The last page.
No, 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 it's not correct. It's in Katsina State.
It's in which state?
Katsina State.
Uh,
Yes, yes.
but here,
That
what?
is Masari's hometown. S.A. Masari. If he hears you, you are in trouble. You say you don't want the school to reside in his place. S.A. Masari, Ibrahim Masari's village. It's in Katsina, uh, and this is Katsina South. And you are from Katsina North. So he doesn't know. It's Nabanji. It's Nabanji. It's in Katsina
But
South.
even the
Funtua area.
but
It's Funtua
yeah,
area.
yeah. What is even written is even KB
No, no, no. It's Katsina.
because automatically this was created for KB.
For who?
This is KB now.
No, 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 no. It's Katsina State. Katsina
Okay,
State. He read the bill on my behalf. I am the sponsor of the motion.
okay,
Uh, it's Ibrahim Masari's hometown. SA to
okay,
the president.
okay, okay. All right. So Clark, take notes. Yes, distinguished Senator Engineer Ken Eze.
Thank you, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues. I remain Senator Engineer Kenneth Emeka, representing the good people of Ebonyi Central Senatorial District. I stand to second the
Ibrahim
motion
Mason.
as moved by
Does he like
Sunday
that?
Carton Marshall and as amended. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, the bill has been corrected. So please note, it's now in Casina, not in Kebbi. A motion has been moved and seconded that the votes and proceedings of yesterday be approved. Those in support of the motion has moved and seconded say aye.
Aye.
Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
Point of order. Point of order. To
Distinguished colleagues, the I wish to acknowledge the presence of students of Yobe State University, Damaturu, in Yobe State, who are in the gallery to observe Senate proceedings. I wish them fruitful observation of the proceedings of today, and I also wish them journey mercies back to Damaturu. You may be seated. Any petitions? Yes, my Lord Mayor of Leeds.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Once again, Sunday Marshall Katung. I represent the people of Kaduna South Senatorial District, and I'm from Kaduna State. I have a petition from one Mr. Philemon James, a member of my senatorial district, seeking a review of his determination of his appointment by the Federal Road Safety Commission. With your kind permission, Mr. President, I seek to lay the petition.
Is there any legal impediment?
No legal impediment.
Okay, proceed.
Thank you.
The petition from distinguished Senator Lord Mayor Sunday Marshall Khartoum is referred to the Committee on Ethics, Code of Conduct, and Public Petitions to revert to the Senate in 1 week. Yes, distinguished Senator Siri, pass to you.
Distinguished Senate President, and my distinguished colleagues, my name is Cyril Pashu. I represent the good people of Ekiti North. I am an Ekiti man. A petition from one Danger Abdullahi was sent to my office as the chairman, Senate Committee on Public Service, Establishment and Public Service. The petition is against the head of civil service of the Federation for unjust, unlawful, and premature retirement from public service. With your kind permission, sir, this petition is self-explanatory, and with your kind permission, I would like to lay it before you, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Proceed to lay the petition. The petition is referred to the Committee on Ethics, Code of Conduct, and Public Petitions to revert to the Senate in 1 week. Yes, distinguished Senator Abiru.
Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Adetokunbo Abiru, and I represent Lagos East Senatorial District. Mr. President and my distinguished colleagues, I have a petition from one of my constituents by the name Omoni Alaba Okutuga. His petition is against the Nigerian Railway Corporation for wrongful dismissal without payment of salaries and requisite entitlement. He is therefore seeking our intervention in the matter, and he has not sought any judicial remedy. With your kind permission, Mr. President, I would like to lay the petition before the Senate. Thank you, Mr. President.
Please proceed to lay the petition. The petition is hereby referred to the Committee on Ethics, Code of Conduct, and Public Petitions to revert to the Senate in 1 week. Any other petition? Leader of the Senate.
Point of order. Point of order.
Yes, point of order.
Mr. President, my highly respected colleagues, my name is Mustafa Habib. I represent Jigawa Southwest. I come under 4151. I'll proceed to read, Mr. President. The matter for discussion shall, if possible, be referred to the President of the Senate before commencement of the day's sitting, and the President of the Senate shall refuse to allow the claim unless he is satisfied that the matter is definite and urgent. 51. Notice shall not be dispensed with in the case of a motion or in respect of any other proceeding for which notice is required, except with the consent of the President of the Senate and the general assent of the senators present. Mr. President, I have duly notified you, and with your consent, I'd like to proceed to present my motion. With your kind permission.
Just give us a brief background and summary of the issue.
Mr. President, one of the towns in my constituency was devastated by a rainstorm. The entire town was brought down by rainstorm and wind, and that led to the loss of about 5 lives. And the entire town, there is no building standing there anymore. Schools, houses, church, mosques, everything has been razed down to the ground by the rainstorm. So
that would sound like a hurricane.
It was.
Yeah. Distinguished colleagues, our brother, Senator Mustafa, met me and hinted me on this issue. In line with Order 41 and 51, is it the view of the Senate that he be allowed to proceed as requested? Those in support say aye, and those against say nay. The ayes have it. You may proceed.
Thank you, Mr. President. A motion is on an urgent need to provide palliative support to the town of Laya in Gwaram local government area of Jigawa Southwest. The Senate notes that the people of Laya and Fagam communities of Gwaram local government area of Jigawa State experienced a devastating windstorm on Thursday, 16th May 2024. Further notes that the windstorm, accompanied by heavy rainfall, caused widespread destruction of lives, injuries, houses, farmlands, and schools in the community. Aware that the windstorm has further resulted in the displacement of the people and families from their ancestral homes, animals, farmlands, as well as destroying essential infrastructure for their economic prosperity. Concerned that the people of Laya and Fagam town are less privileged persons, displaced by the windstorm, living in destitution, suffering and fear of future disasters. Worried that government agencies have failed to give disaster warnings and preparedness techniques to prevent and control disasters to the local communities, thereby causing constant fear and lack of knowledge of preparedness by communities across the country. Resolved, direct the Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and National Emergency Management to send relief materials, especially building materials, to enable the people of Laya and Fagam to rebuild their homes and alleviate the pain in view of the impending rainy season. Mandate the Senate Committee on Environment and Compliance to ensure compliance and report back within 4 weeks. Thank you, Mr. President.
Senator Agadaga.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I am Senator Benson Sunday Agadaga. I rise to second the motion by distinguished Senator Mustafa that relief materials be sent to the communities affected by rainstorm. I say second, Mr. President. Thank you.
Distinguished Senator Abbas.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I am Aminu Abbas, Senator from Adamawa Central District, Adamawa State. Mr. President, this is a very serious matter where a whole town has been raised by rainstorm. And it's it needs urgent intervention, Mr. President, to bring succor to the people of Laya in Goram local government of Jigawa State. Therefore, Mr. President, urge the Supreme Court to support this motion and the prayers so that the people of Laya will get assistance from NEMA so as to have relief of what happened to them and to enable them, Mr. President, this is a rainy season, it's a time for farming, to enable them go to farm. I so submit, Mr. President.
Distinguished Senator Nengi.
Mr. President, thank you very much. My name is Senator Abdul Ningi, and I represent Bauchi Central of Bauchi State. Mr. President, this is a town adjacent to my own emirate. In fact, Laya is just in between the two local governments of Ningi Emirate. And the story of Laya is so disturbing that the entire town almost deserted. And quite a number of them have taken refuge in some neighboring states and a local government. I don't know why the state government, the local government in particular, have not taken action to bring some palliatives to the Laya town. I know the federal government is big, but I think what is important most often when such disasters happen is for the immediate local government and the state government to take action. In the case of Laya, we've had very terrible stories, and that schools have been shut, children are no longer going to school, and even the farming. I know this is a farming season. The people in Laya now can go to farm, but they can't come back to their houses because there are no houses. So they have taken refuge in other local governments. I don't know at the end of the day what will happen. And the mover of the motion made a very serious statement about foretelling disasters in Nigeria. I think this is something that is of a national importance. Of course, sometimes you hear that there will be flooding in Akwa Ibom, there will be flooding in Bauchi, but that is to the extent of the information. But where it concerns communities, little communities, you hear none of it. This flooding is ravaging the entire northern Nigeria. And if it doesn't happen in Jigawa today, it will happen in Bauchi. But also Lagos has also taken its own hit. So in the entire country that is at loggerhead. Unfortunately, Mr. President, this flooding is happening at a very critical, bad time in the history of this country with the hunger ravaging people. So you find out, where do people go? No food to eat, no house to stay, flood has taken over, and no farm to farm because of
the incessant insecurity in some part of the country. So I think I have seen this motion throughout last week, and I want to thank you, Mr. President, for allowing him to come up with this motion. This motion has been listed in the audit paper for like this is the third time. So I commend you in allowing him to take this matter so that people of Laya will know that the Senate means business, and the Senate has seen their plight through the representative of Laya Town. I crave the indulgence of my colleagues to see the Laya motion as being part and an integral part of humanity, our own common humanity going forward. And I support this motion, and it should go through. Thank you.
Thank you, distinguished colleagues. Let me thank everybody for submissions, for the submissions made in respect of supporting this motion. Is there anybody who is opposed to this motion? There is nobody. And actually, I must say that distinguished Senator Mustafa Kabib, we sympathize with you and the good people of Laya Town in the Kwaram local government area of Jigawa State. Though a natural disaster, because we are talking about windstorm, there is no way the government of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu can stop windstorm and rain from happening in parts of Nigeria. This is what we may call natural disaster. It's not something that was man-made. So unfortunately, your people became the worst for it. So we sympathize with them. Our hearts are with them, particularly those who probably lost their loved ones and lost their habitats, lost their farmlands and all that. The Senate must protect the people of Laya Town and all Nigerians. That's what we are here for. But natural disasters do happen. May the soul of whoever had lost his life rest in perfect peace. And we can only try our best to ameliorate the situation. So this is a single prayer from distinguished Senator Mustafa Kabib, and I'll go straight to the prayer. Direct the Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and the National Emergency Management Agency to send relief materials, especially building materials, to enable the people of Laya Town rebuild their homes, and then, of course, the relief materials will help to alleviate their pains in view of the impending that is coming. Those in support of this single prayer, that NEMA and the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs should intervene positively in this disaster, say aye. Those again say nay. The ayes have it. The order is to urge the Senate Committee on Compliance to ensure that they go ahead to work closely with the Ministry of, with the Senate Committee on Environment to ensure that the NEMA and the Humanitarian Affairs intervene as directed by the Senate and report back to the Senate in 3 weeks. Those in support of this second arm of the prayer say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Please convey the sympathies and commiserations of the 10 Senate that you belong to the good people of Laya Town. And if there's anything we can do, we can only pray for them that such disaster will not reoccur a second time. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, very distinguished senators of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the first business of the day is the presentation of a House bill standing in my name on the Nigeria Port Economic Regulatory Agency Establishment Bill 2024 HB 1038. Mr. President, You may wish to invite the clerk of the Senate to read the short title of the bill.
Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, Nigeria Port Economic Regulatory Agency Establishment Bill 2024, HB 1038, first reading.
Distinguished colleagues, Nigeria Port Economic Regulatory Agency Establishment Bill 2024, HB 1038. First reading taken. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, the second business of the day is the presentation of a bill standing in the name of most distinguished Senator Nwoko Ned Munir on the Orthopedic Hospital Management Board Act Amendment Bill 2024, SB 499. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the Clerk of the Senate to read the short title of the bill.
Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, Orthopedic Hospitals Management Board Act Amendment Bill 2024, SB 499, first reading.
Distinguished colleagues, Orthopedic Hospitals Management Board Act Amendment Bill 2024, SB 499. First reading taken. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, the third business of the day is the presentation of a bill standing in the name of most distinguished Senator Jonah Williams Etem on the Federal Medical Centers Act Amendment Bill 2024, SB 525. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the Clerk of the Senate to read the short title of the bill.
Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, Federal Medical Centers Act Amendment Bill 2024, SB 525, first reading.
Distinguished colleagues, Federal Medical Centers Act Amendment Bill 2024, SB 525. First reading taken. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, the fourth business of the day is the presentation of a bill standing in the name of most distinguished Senator Musa Mohammed Sani on the Local Government Independent Electoral Commission Establishment Bill 2024, SB 531. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the Clerk of the Senate to read the short title of the bill.
Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, Local Government Independent Electoral Commission Establishment Bill 2024, SB 531, first reading.
Distinguished colleagues, National Local Government Independent Electoral Commission Establishment Bill 2024, SB 531. First reading taken. Yes, Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, the fifth business of the day is the presentation of a bill standing in the name of most distinguished Senator Onyeso Allwell Hetcho on the Federal Medical Centers Act Amendment Bill 2024, SB 536. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the Clerk of the Senate to read the short title of the bill.
Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, Federal Medical Centers Act Amendment Bill 2024, SB 536, first reading.
Distinguished colleagues, Federal Medical Centers Act Amendment Bill 2024, SB 536. First reading taken. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, the sixth
business of the day is the presentation of a bill standing in the name of most distinguished Senator Tambuwal Waziri on the Federal Polytechnic Act Amendment Bill 2024 SB 542. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the Clerk of the Senate to read the short title of the bill.
Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, Federal Polytechnics Act Amendment Bill 2024, SB 542, first reading.
Distinguished colleagues, Federal Polytechnic Act Amendment Bill 2024, SB 542, first reading taken. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, the first order of the day is the second reading of the National Road Transport Council Bill 2024 SB 324. Distinguished senators will recall that the bill was read the first time in this chamber on Tuesday, 30th January 2024. Mr. President, distinguished Senator Yisa Ashiru Oyelola, the sponsor of the bill, is out of chamber attending to some other official engagements, but the whip of the Senate, distinguished Senator Mohammed Tahir Mangono, would be available to take the second reading on his behalf. So, Mr. President, you may wish to invite distinguished Senator Mangono to move the motion for the bill to be read a second time.
Distinguished Senator Mangono, the Senate Whip.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, my name is Mohammed Tahir Monguno. I represent Borno North Senatorial District. I hereby move that a bill for an act to establish National Transport Council to be saddled with the responsibility of regulating the road transport industry and the transport profession in Nigeria and for related matters be read the second time. I so move. Yes. And with your permission, I will proceed to lead the debate. Thank you.
Yes.
Mr. President and my highly respected distinguished colleagues, I stand before you today to lead the debate on a bill of paramount importance that seeks to establish the National Road Transport Council and make comprehensive provision for its due administration. The bill was read for the first time in this followed chamber on the 30th January 2024. My distinguished colleagues, the road transport industry is the lifeblood of Nigeria's economy, facilitating the movement of goods and people across our vast nation. Recent studies estimate that over 80 million Nigerians use road transport daily, with approximately 55 million in urban areas and 25 million in rural regions. This massive scale underscores the critical nature of this sector to our national development. Unfortunately, however, my distinguished colleagues, the current state of our road transport industry is plagued by numerous challenges that severely undermine its efficiency, safety, and growth potential. These issues, amongst others, include lack of comprehensive policy framework, inadequate insurance coverage, poor regulation and oversight, lack of coordination, disorderly infrastructure, low professionalism, and urban-rural disparity. And last but not the least, lack of legal platform to coordinate. Mr. President, my distinguished colleagues, in order to address these multifaceted challenges, this bill seeks to establish the National Road Transport Council as the overarching regulatory body for the road transport sector. The council will be tasked with the following key responsibilities: policy formulation, develop an overarching national road transport policy that harmonizes and complements existing regulation, fills gaps, and resolves conflicts between current policies, and develops comprehensive policy that address the needs of both urban and rural road users, and creates a legal platform to coordinate and regulate the activities of multi-sectoral road road users associations and unions like the National Union of Road Transport Workers, Nigerian Association of Transport Owners, among others. Safety regulations, that is to implement and enforce stringent safety standards for vehicles, drivers, and transport infrastructure. This bill will include regular vehicle inspections, regular certification program, and infrastructure safety audits. With regard to insurance reform, it will ensure work with relevant stakeholders to develop and implement a mandatory, affordable insurance scheme for all road travelers. Agency coordination, that is to coordinate activities among relevant agencies to eliminate jurisdictional conflicts and foster synergies. Then professional oversight, which is to license and regulate commercial transport operators, maintain registers of accredited professionals, and oversee training institutions to enhance professionalism in the sector. Mr. President, my highly respected distinguished colleagues, may I conclude by saying that the road transport sector is too important to be left in its current state of disarray. The establishment of this council will provide a robust institutional and regulatory framework to address the current challenges bedeviling our road transport industry. With every sense of humility, my distinguished colleagues, I urge you to unreservedly support this bill for second reading with the spirit of light. Thank you.
Distinguished Senator Salih Mustafa.
Transport. Your Excellency, distinguished Senate President, my name is Senator Salih Mustafa. I want to lend my voice to the debate on National Road Transport Council in Nigeria. I stand here today to lend my voice on the earlier comments made in why we should have a more comprehensive framework of the National Road Transport Council so as to have a better and more effective system in the road coordination and oversight. I want to, at this junction, submit that this is a bill that is in the right direction, and I hope everybody will give the necessary support to it. Thank you, sir.
Distinguished Senator Plank.
Our beloved Senate President, my distinguished colleagues, I am Senator Dicket Lang, Senator representing Plateau Central. I rise to support this bill in its totality. I support this bill because the road transport is the widest aspect of means of transport for us in Nigeria. And I know that the Nigerian Union of Road Transport Workers succeeded the Nigerian Road Transport Union that was established since 1934. It was in 1978 that the Nigerian Union of Road Transport Workers succeeded the defunct Nigerian Union of Road Transport Union. And in all spheres of life, in the three major means of transport, which is the air, land, and sea, you always start with the land before joining sea and come back to land, road. Even if it is sea transport, it is from the road transport to sea and back to road transport. The total number of Nigerians, both the rich and the poor, use the means of road transport in no small measure. We cannot quantify. If we leave this area not regulated, not supervised, it will mean a lot to Nigerians. I personally feel that this bill is very timely, and this bill is a bill that should be supported. This will help to protect the workers, the drivers and workers in the road transport area. Because in most cases, some of the drivers, whenever there is a mishap, are molested either by being killed and nobody followed it up. And sometimes most of the drivers are not qualified and nobody to check. And it ends up affecting Nigerians. I believe that this formation of this council is one of the most unmeasurable steps that we will take to protect Nigerians, protect our roads, and probably provide a more tidy means of transport to our country. I support this bill in its totality, and I believe that at the end of the day, we will all support this bill and come up with a council that will protect and give us a very reliable means of transport. I thank you for the opportunity to contribute.
Yeah, distinguished Senator Ositango.
Thank you, Mr. President, for a good opportunity. I'm Ositango, Enugu West. Mr. President, the importance of this bill cannot be overemphasized. Mr. President, I want to speak on the safety aspect because the bill also made provision for policy formation and the regulation of the transport sector. Mr. President, I'll use Q2 of 2023 as a point to support this bill. Going by the Bureau of Statistics, National Bureau of Statistics, Q2 2023 recorded 2,967 road accidents in Nigeria. And in this road accident, we had 1,349 fatalities. For me, we can, as much as we want, believe these statistics, but in Q3, when I visited the headquarters of Nigerian Road Safety Commission, because of an accident that occurred somewhere in my constituency, they were magnanimous to give me the records. But I now found out that in one particular road, they call Ugoyama, along the Enugu-Onitsha Expressway, from January to April 2023, it recorded 74 deaths in a particular spot. And this is because of lack of policy formation in the road transport sector. Mr. President, if we want to save the life of Nigerians on the roads, plying our roads, which we know how good it is, let us pass this bill. Mr. President, if we want to protect the life of Nigerians, ensure that untimely death is prevented. It is our duty. Let us pass this bill. for efficiency of the road transport sector, proper policy formation. Mr. President, let us pass this bill. Thank you, Mr. President.
Let me ask you, if one particular road in less than 5 months recorded 74 deaths, don't you think you should find out, is it because of the alignment? Is it the undulating part of the road? Is it because of pothole or neglect or something? Because we used to have that kind of road in my state at the Civil Service Training Center, a big curve that goes into the market. So vehicles will derail, get into the market, kill as many as possible, and it continued for many years, over 40 years. So when I had the opportunity to be a governor, I had to move the alignment of the road, and now no single death is recorded since I completed the construction of that road in 2013. So the one they are talking about is too rapid. So what do you think is responsible? Is it the bad construction? Is it the pothole? Is it the narrowness of the road? Because you can't continue to record such fatalities and then the government does not intervene.
Thank you, Mr. President, for opportunity to re-emphasize. Let me even shock you. 2 months ago, this one spot recorded an accident that killed 26 people. Just last 2 months. The same place.
How many?
26.
So
in
what,
just one accident.
So what have you done about it?
What we have done, actually, the cause of this accident is lack of coordination, and it's an undulating road, and you have about 2 military checkpoints. And when the military checkpoint has lined up a series of vehicles, of course, we know how it goes, and a truck somehow fails brake. It knocks down the other vehicles, a very sharp undulating. So we have made a case to the Nigerian military to move their checkpoint away from that location because it has killed a lot of people. This particular bill, if we have a framework or a policy on such on our routes, I don't think we can allow a checkpoint in such sharp road. And what it also brings to us is the time heavy trailers are supposed to ply the roads. Mr. President, you see a truck carrying a container moving in the daytime and in a busy road. Of course, when it skips, we have seen several videos where containers fell off trucks and kill several people. We also see, if you see trucks carrying petroleum products, sometimes when they have accidents, we know the level of fatality that it records. So sometimes the reason why these things happen is because there is no proper regulation on what is happening on our road. It is like a free-for-all. Thank you, Mr. President.
So what do you think can be done in the immediate to stem the tide of fatalities on that road? I know, is that near to 9 miles? Yes, I lost a friend there. I went to visit him like today. The next day, he was taking that road to Abuja. Right on that particular spot, he died with his child. So I'm surprised that the people are still allowing people to die there. Because have you discussed this with the Minister of Works? Because if you do a realignment of that road, you can avoid that steep area. Not just because of military checkpoint. People will still die unless something is done about that road. The way it is, I know I have an idea of that road. The way that road is, something needs to be done.
President, on the immediate, the quickest solution is to remove the checkpoint. The second solution is to repair the second part of that Lobi road, because every vehicle is plying just the one lane that the RCC have just constructed. And we have discussed this. In fact, I had a chat with the governor. We took it up with the Ministry of Works. Well, because work have not commenced on the second section, the part 2 of the road. So everybody is using one lane, but we'll be able to achieve moving the military checkpoint away from the undulating. But the truth is that after 1 month, they will come back there, because we have done that severally.
It's a federal road. That's what I'm saying. Can you also take a trip to the ministry Federal Ministry of Works, describe the situation of the road, and see whether they can intervene. As a leader and the senator representing that area, you can. I believe it's something that you can sumo to move a motion, and then we take decisions, and then you follow up.
We have had a motion on that earlier in 2023.
But you have not followed up.
No, we have followed up, but nothing has been done by the ministry. We need the second part of the road repaired. That is the quickest way so that oncoming vehicles can be on another lane. Maybe if you give me the opportunity, it's a matter of urgent importance. In our next legislative day, I'll represent the motion.
I'll be glad to join you to follow up.
Thank you, sir.
So we invite the minister to come and discuss with us why nothing has been done. Because I know the road you are talking about, and I'm surprised it's still the same way. You don't, to avoid another life. You may not know whose life. I'm not threatening you, because you take that road yourself. So it's important for something to be done urgently to save other Nigerians from perishing on that spot. And it's also a dangerous area because there's a bush there, there's a forest there. And so a lot of criminals come out there to harass people because of the undulation. So there's a big valley there. So it's not something that you will tell the military move. And the military will move, and then 4 or 5 people will be kidnapped. So you must involve the Ministry of Works to actually realign the road. And if the reconstruction of the second lane is what will solve the problem, we must do it immediately to stem the tide of fatalities on that spot. I know the road. Thank you for bringing it up. And then see me after this for further action. Senator Hanga.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. I'm Senator Rufai Hanga, representing Kano Central. Mr. President, I support this bill in totality. And in supporting this bill, sir, I would like to also emphasize on the safety part of it. You see, generally, our problem in Nigeria today on safety is that there is no enforcement on the regulations of the road, no enforcement on the drivers. Drivers drive without proper license. The licenses are not properly issued. Licenses are issued to people that cannot drive properly, sir. And Mr. President, most of our drivers now do not even know the road signs. In those days, when things were properly done, you can't have a license until you are properly tested by a VIO. You have to go through proper tests to make sure you know the road signs. Our drivers, they do not even know the road signs. That's why we have road collisions. Mr. President, we also have a problem because the VIO functions are no longer there. In those days, sir, VIOs are professionals. They are either mechanics or automobile engineers. They stop a vehicle, when a vehicle is rickety, they stop it, they check the lights, they check the brake lights, they check everything in the vehicle to make sure that it is all right. And if it is not all right, they put off the road on the vehicle. You have to repair it before you come and pick it. Mr. President, I'm sure President today, road safety people do not even know whether a tire is motorable, whether you should drive a vehicle with a particular tire. Every tire manufactured has a life of only 3 years, and the life is written on the tire. And after 3 years, Mr. President, whether the tires look new or not, they are expired, they combust. So most of the things that are causing all these accidents, Mr. President, is either uh, unprofessional drivers, untrained drivers, uh, and safety vehicles, and indiscipline on the road, because our road safety and other officials do not enforce the regulations on the road. So, Mr. President, there is need for another look at the VIOs. VIOs should be revived because they check vehicles as they go. Any rickety vehicle are checked, stopped, and confirmed that they are roadworthy. Otherwise, they are put off the road. And they are put on the road until they repair it and put it in order. So all the things accumulate to bring all these general problems on road, sir. Mr. Thank you very much, sir.
Distinguished Senator Orwell, you hear that, sir?
Thank you, Mr. President. In supporting this motion, I want to look at the importance of road transport.
You are
Can you hear me? Sorry. I am Owen Yesu. I am from River State, the treasure base of the nation. I represent the Eastern Senatorial District. I want to support this motion because of the importance of road transportation in our economy, not just in Nigerian economy, in the world economy, because it involves moving personnel and goods from one spot to the other. If you don't move items and persons from one point to the other, it means nothing. And so, bringing in a law that will ensure that this particular aspect is properly handled is very welcome. This particular bill has come at the appropriate time. If you consider that road movement generates income for the country, most countries in the world generate a lot of income they use to run their country through road business. One of such countries is England, where most of every activity on the road generates funds. If you drive wrongly, you pay. If you drive too much, you pay. If you go through some areas, you pay. There are areas that are marked and timed. And so if a law comes in to put things properly, like this one that is about to be put in place, it helps. It will help in generating revenue for the country. And it's also a good employer of labor. The driver, the conductor, at least two persons employed. And if you consider that you have more than 1 million vehicles on the road every day, just a rough estimate, it means that you have 2 billion people employed moving around. So it's a very wonderful bill, and I want to support wholeheartedly. Thank you, Mr. President.
Distinguished Senator Alero, just to add your voice, and thereafter we go into the prayers.
Thank you, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues. My name is Muhammad Adamalero, representing KB Central. Mr. President, I rise to support or to second, sorry, to support this bill for two reasons. Number one, road users presently are not regulated. The only federal agency responsible for the regulation of road users is Federal Road Safety Corps, and it is an act of National Assembly. Secondly, state governments
are also responsible for the regulation of road users, particularly when it comes to the issue of vehicle inspection officers. We don't have them at the federal level. No, what we have is the Federal Road Safety Corps. Perhaps they are doing what we call BIO functions at the federal level. So the conflict may likely arise when this council is established, because the state governors or state governments have the VIOs, and they have also their own roads. Equally, we have the federal roads, we have state roads. So there might be conflict. And as you rightly know, both state governments and federal government can regulate on the transportation sector. So, because it is on the concurrent legislative list. So I will suggest that when we go to the public hearing, we try to sort out areas of conflict so that we can come up with a very good framework that will be acceptable to all. So I'm not opposed to this bill, but where there is conflict, we should try to avoid it, particularly on the functions of the state government. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, distinguished Senator Alero. I'm also of the opinion that in every bill, the distinguished senators should individually work on the bills and then highlight areas that may need amendments and areas that will need that may lead to conflict with existing regulations or acts of parliament. And then, of course, submit them to whichever authority is looking into the bill. So that when it comes back to us for passage, it will be something that is acceptable and prestigious as emanating from the Senate of the Federal Republic. So I like the suggestion you made, but please get your legal assistant to also look at it and even and put something down in writing before we even go for the public hearing. So apparently nobody is opposed to this bill. Is there anybody opposed to the bill? You're opposed? Proceed. Yeah, you're opposed. I would like to hear you. Yes.
Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Senator Victor Ume. I represent Anambra Central Senatorial District. No, Labour Party, please. Don't follow Ushomole to misinform the public. Mr. President, I'm not very comfortable with this bill in the sense that I've read the objectives of this bill, and I do not think that we do not have the framework to manage our road transport system presently, as to going to establish a national road transport council, national council. If you look at all the things happening in the road transport sector, we already have agencies of government that regulate movement of vehicles on our roads. We have the Federal Road Safety Commission, if we are thinking about how to maintain safety in the usage of our roads. The Federal Road Safety Commission is a well-constituted commission that is working across the Federation of Nigeria. There's no place you don't see them. They are well-staffed. Aside from them, in the Federal Ministry of Works, you also have vehicle inspection, VIO. That department also gets involved in the management of our road transport usage, VIOs. They're everywhere. You see them. If you begin to talk about a council that will regulate and coordinate activities of National Union of Road Transport Workers and the rest of it. These are agencies that are also operating. They are in place. State governments have road usage management agencies. State governments, like in my state, we have Anambra State Traffic Management Agency, ASTMA. They're all over the place wearing uniforms. So a National Road Transport Council that will regulate all these activities appears to me not to be succinct enough for us to go and pass this bill and create that an agency to exist on its own. My colleagues have contributed to debates about failure in the management of road usage, like our minority whip raised the issue of the ninth mile corner, where people have been dying. You know, it's not about national coordination that that accident is happening there. It's because the necessary things have not been done. He had a motion 2 months ago that was delayed because of the Ramadan break, when 26 people died. I live in Enugu, and I told him I would like to co-sponsor that motion. But because of the holidays, we couldn't go forward. So we have agencies of government that can do this. Federal Ministry of Works have not been able to solve the problem there. When he was speaking, Senator Ostangu contributed finally to the cause of the problem there. This is a place where you have two roads on different layers. One is below the other, and the other one is out of use. They've not done that lane. The one that is on a higher lane has to carry all the vehicle traffic, trailers and all manners of things, with congestions on the road. So because of the failure of the Federal Ministry of Works to do the lower layer, so that vehicles going to one direction will all go through that way, the other ones coming up will go through the other way. Everybody has recourse to one lane, and it has continued to cause carnage. I don't see what another national transport road council will help us do. If these agencies cannot effectively do this, the Federal Ministry of Works repairs our roads. The Federal Road Safety Commission is there to direct vehicle movement and traffic management on our roads. Because once we pass this bill, you go into another bureaucracy of setting up a council that will begin to talk about touts and all manners of things. These people are already regulated. There are agencies of government in place to regulate these activities. So I'm not opposing the bill because I don't like the thing, but I read it. If you look at the functions of the National Road Transport Council, you see that most of them are vague. If you read all these things now, you see they are vague in content. Lack of comprehensive policy framework. This is vague. Inadequate insurance coverage. There's no measure for this. Poor regulation and oversight. Who is oversighting and who is regulating and all that. So I've gone through it, and I believe the best thing to do is to ensure that the agencies in place should be strengthened to do their work. The Federal Road Safety Commission is in a position to help us have a safe movement of these vehicles on the roads. Then Ministry of Works should do the roads and repair them. If you don't repair the roads, there's nothing the council can do. The council cannot repair the roads. The one we have that is a major problem we are facing in this ninth mile corner, you have also talked about. It's not about any other thing, not about council. It's about the failure of the Federal Ministry of Works to do the second layer of the road, the one that is on a lower level. Do it asphalt so the vehicles can ply smoothly. The other lane will go in opposite direction, and these debts will cease. So I humbly we have had too many councils and agencies and nothing works. Let those we have be strengthened to do their work. This is my contribution. Thank you, Mr. President.
Senator Natasha.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. I'm Natasha Akatigo. I'm representing the people of Kogi Central. My contribution to the National Road Council, National Road Transport Council Establishment Bill is such that the word road should be dropped because it's too limiting to this very important bill. We have other means of transportation that lack synergy, such as water, rail, in addition to road. The major problem we have today on the road is transported on roads. If we develop our internal road network, internal waterways, for example, products can move from Lokoja waterways down to the Niger Delta part of Nigeria to Warri and on airports. That would actually unburden the roads and would now even save and avoid accidents. So what I'll propose, sir, is instead of having it named the National Road Transport Council, it should read the National Transport Council. So what I'll propose, sir, is instead of having it other names, National Road Transport Council can be harmonized. Our waterways, our rail networks are all designed independently and not in a coordinated fashion. So we would love a situation whereby every aspect of our transportation is looked into and developed by deploying the most modern, innovative ways. So, sir, that's my submission. National Transport Council of Nigeria should be the new name rather than the National Road Transport Council. Thank you.
Yes. The same Senator Eze.
Thank you, Mr. President. I remain Senator Engineer Eze Kenneth Omeka, representing Ebonyi Central Senatorial Zone. I would like to add my voice in this all-important bill and on the opposite side. In view of the fact that we are talking about Orasanyo report, where we are trying to eliminate most of the agencies that are duplicating functions, I would like to say that with all the good intent of this bill, it has all the objectives. All the objectives are being taken care by other agencies that we know, just like distinguished Senator Vitume said. I would rather be supporting that we will come up with a motion urging all the agencies to rise to the occasion, to rise to their duties, perform their duties, because it's failure on the part of all the agencies that we know that is causing all this problem. The bill is well intended, but of a truth, all what we see here are already being taken care by other agencies that are in existence. So we should rather be saying that we move a motion urging all those relevant agencies to rise to their duties. I so submit.
Okay, that is almost in line with what Senator Alero said, that it will be nice to look and streamline the functions. Otherwise, we'll just create an omnibus legal framework that will now be conflicting with existing acts of parliament. Yes, Senator Agadaga.
Mr. President, Chief Benson Sunday Agadaga is my name. I speak for the people of Bayelsa East Senatorial District, Bayelsa State. I want to thank the sponsor of this motion, this bill. I have also seen that it's an important bill that we need to pass to make sure that we supervise our transport system in Nigeria. But I want to align my views with that of Senator Natasha, who said that we should make it broader than restricting it to road transport alone. Those of us who live in the riverine areas, we need the coordination or the function to the marine transport system there as well. And if we pass this bill, it means tomorrow another bill will come for the marine transport sector. Next tomorrow another one will come for the air transport sector and the rail. And in line with the Science panel's recommendation, we really don't need to multiplicate these organs in the country. And so if we make it Road Transport Council of Nigeria to embrace all these areas and have directorates to handle the different areas involved. This is my submission, Mr. President. Thank you so much.
Listening Senator Oshumole.
Mr. President, thank you so very much. I'd like to join those who have opposed this bill, as very eloquently argued by Senator Ume and supported by two other distinguished senators. Mr. President, when I was growing up, we have only, under the Nigeria police, we have the traffic division. And they did their job so diligently, so that if there are roadblocks, you will find them try to manage traffic. If there are accidents, they do everything to establish who is wrong, who is right, preparatory to go to court if the party decide to go to court. Thereafter, we set up the Road Safety Commission. I don't know the experience of my fellow distinguished senators. If you ask me, I do not think even the Road Safety Commission has added value to road transportation, whether it is of promoting safety or ensuring that, that drivers obey traffic laws. Except that you find them under the tree collecting money from poor road users. I think what we need is to make existing institutions to work. And where they fail to work, we evoke sanction. Just recently, I had a conversation with a fellow senator in these chambers. And this senator was shocked about what she observed directly. I don't know why the Turaki of Lorry is blocking the Senate. You are supposed to be seated under the rule. When a senator is standing speaking, other senator cannot be standing. That is the rule. So the new chief whip, please rise to the occasion and protect my right. Chief whip.
Please address the chair.
Mr. President, sir. It's your juju struggle. So, Mr. President, I think this House must be seen to act in a manner that is in tune with those broad policy statements that we have accepted, namely, to avoid multiplication of agencies that have duplicated functions, which is at the heart of the much talked about Oroshaye report. Under your leadership, sir, may it not be said that while Nigeria is committed to cutting federal government excessive overhead expenditure, that more agencies are created that will lead to appointment of more directors, deputy directors, chairman of board members, etc., all of them drawing allowances, and in the end, nothing changes. We have National Union of Road Transport Workers. They are registered under the Trade Union Act, and that I provide for their own responsibilities. I think if any of us have reservations about the incompetence of the Nigeria Road Safety Commission, which is my view, that they are incompetent, they are not adding value, and yet they are drawing so much for public treasury. Let us, in line with the current spirit of cutting down costs, to meet other more challenging expenses, we don't need to create agency for everything. Because like he said, the last speaker, Senator Agadaga, who supported my sister, Natasha, that we may end up tomorrow, if there's an accident in a boat, we set up a waterways transport commission. And then rail, we will set up rail transportation commission. Which country are we competing with? It tells a number of vehicles in relation to our population. There are countries with far more vehicles. They don't have all these institutions. Mr. President, we have all had the privilege of traveling, every senator here. One policeman, if you overspeed, he will arrest you, he will take your card, he will go to his car, he will key in your name to see whether you are wanted for other things. That is the kind of improvement I would like to see. An officer that is multi-skilled, multi-talented, and multitask to justify the salary that he or she receives. They can be so well paid rather than duplication of efforts of institutions and everybody end up being underpaid. I move, sir, that we kill this motion here. You should not go through second reading. There is no apology to anyone who move a motion because we are discussing issues. We are not discussing the mover of the motion. Every senator here, we are brothers and sisters, including Agadaga, including Natasha, including Senator Ome, whose name I will never forget again, but I can't forget Abga. So, sir, I support that this motion be killed for the reasons that have been very well enumerated, beginning with Senator Ome. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, distinguished Senator Shimole. But that wasn't what was before us. What was before us was to determine whether the bill should be read a second time or not. Not whether we should kill the motion. Anyway, I've heard from those in support and those not in support. So I'll put the question. Distinguished colleagues, distinguished colleagues, those in favor that this bill be now read a second time, say aye. Those against, say nay.
Mr. President, we don't want it to be killed. We just want a bit of modification. We don't want the bill killed, but it should be slight modifications, sir. It's a necessary bill.
Distinguished Senator Natasha, in the chamber, you have to be recognized before you speak.
Oh, pardon me.
Yeah, we are not in a nightclub. Those in favor that this bill be now read a second time, say aye. Those against, say nay.
Clyde. What happened?
Distinguished colleagues, my ears are very good. Those in support that this bill be now read a second time, say aye. And those against, say nay. The nays have it. Leader of the Senate. Leader of the Senate. Next item. Leader of the next item. But you know the procedure. The civil Senator Salimusa, if you think that the Senate President did not hear well, call for a division. Yeah, that is the procedure. Call for a division and let us see whether you will not be disgraced. No. I'm saying,
Mr. President.
Sorry, Leader of the Senate, because Senator Salimusa seems to have a problem with his ear. I'm advising him to look at our rules. Do you wish to call for division? in line with our rules. No, no, no. So no, no, no. I have ruled, but he has the liberty, if he disagrees with the ruling, to call for division. Do you wish to call for division?
Mr. President, you have ruled already. So we will bring the bill back again.
So I rule your objection out of order. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, the second order of the day is the second reading of the Nigerian Insurance Industry Reform Bill 2024 SB 393. Distinguished senators will recall that the bill was read for the first time in this chamber on Thursday, 14th March 2024. Mr. President, you may wish to invite most distinguished Senator Adetokunbo Mikhail Abiru to move the motion for the bill to be read a second time.
Distinguished Senator Adetokunbo Abiru.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Senator Adetokunbo Abiru, and I represent Lagos East Senatorial District. Mr. President and my distinguished colleagues, it is my pleasure and delight to lead the debate on the general principles of the Nigerian Insurance Industry Reform Bill 2024 SB 393. The bill, which is sponsored by my humble self and all the members of the Committee on Banking, Insurance, and Other Financial Institutions, seeks to provide a comprehensive legal framework for the regulation, supervision of all manner of insurance businesses in Nigeria. Mr. President, my distinguished colleagues, you will recall that the bill was first read in this hallowed chamber on Thursday, 14th March 2024. Overview of the Nigerian insurance landscape. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, despite Nigeria's insurance industry being one of the oldest industries in Nigeria's financial services sector, insurance penetration currently stands at 0.5%, ranking at about 70th position globally and 5th in Africa. And meanwhile, that of South Africa is about 11%. So with our young and vibrant population and growing GDP, the potential for exponential growth is undeniable. So, an overview of the relevant statutes. There are several insurance laws guiding the Nigerian insurance business in Nigeria, namely Insurance Act 2003, the Marine Insurance Act, the Motor Vehicles and Third-Party Insurance Act, the National Insurance Corporation of Nigerian Act, and the Nigerian Reinsurance Corporation Act. These laws are obsolete and they currently stifle the industry's potential to compete globally. They do not resonate with the current dynamics and evolving needs of the Nigerian insurance industry. All these legislations haven't surpassed the 2-decade mark, lacks provisions that can adequately address contemporary challenges and support growth and innovations within the industry. This has also hampered the industry's ability to successfully compete on a global level, underscoring the necessity of a thorough assessment and update to improve international competitiveness of Nigeria's insurance industry. One of the general characteristics of the Nigerian Insurance Reform Bill is its departure from the subsisting Insurance Act 2003. Yes, no. Hello? Okay. The key characteristics of the Insurance Act 2003 is that its provisions are too specific and prescriptive. thereby making it rigid and not amenable to change to meet the dynamics of the current market realities. So therefore, the provisions in this bill are crafted as framework legislation that provide for minimum or basic requirements, while the details will be spelled out in regulations and policy directives. This arrangement allows for ease of amendment and adjustment and substantially limits the need for review of the law. It also allows for timely intervention for the purposes of protecting the policyholders and ensuring financial stability. And this also will align the Nigerian insurance sector with international best practices. The major justifications for this bill could be found in these key areas. One, it will be a consolidation of all our existing insurance legislations. So, and this is very consistent with the principle of consolidating all pieces of insurance legislation into one enactment. Also, another characteristic is the framework law and enforcement of compulsory insurance. The bill will therefore provide a framework legislation as opposed to the existing prescriptive and rigid law. The proposed law allows for some flexibility in its application by empowering the regulatory body to make regulations and issue policy guidelines or directives to deal with exigencies of the market. It will also bring about risk-based capital and revised minimum capital requirement. What we have presently is that the present capital requirements are rigid and they have no correlation with the business risk profile and size of various insurance institutions. The change that this bill will bring about will address these weaknesses and bring the capital requirement in line with current international standards and practices. Other features of the bill talks about financial inclusion, that is to enhance market penetration, and of course, corporate governance and market conduct. And of course, it will also address the issue of the adoption of technology, and also strengthening the regulator to perform its role as the regulator. Now, on page 4, you have the main objectives of the bill. This bill, therefore, specifically seeks to achieve the following. 1, consolidation of various existing pieces of legislation regulating the conduct of insurance business in Nigeria, such as the Insurance Act 2003, Marine Insurance Act, Motor Vehicles Insurance Act, and other existing insurance acts. It will also create a robust legal and regulatory framework that will ensure that the insurance sector contributes positively to the principal objective of the financial system strategy to make Nigeria Africa's financial hub and one of the 20 largest economies in the world. It will also involve effective risk-based supervision in the regulatory system, as the existing rule-based supervision enabled by the current laws as they have become obsolete. It will also fast-track the process of managing weak companies, as the existing legislation is not efficient and effective enough to address distress management. It will also review the penalties, as the ones prescribed in the existing laws are inadequate and not deterrent enough. It will further ensure ethical practice and international best practices as required by the International Association of Insurance Supervision. Mr. President and my distinguished colleagues, the contribution of the insurance sector to the gross domestic product has remained low, mainly due to poor legal framework and operational challenges, including the integrity of some insurance companies. It is evident that we need a comprehensive review of the legal framework for the operation and the regulation of the industry in Nigeria, considering the insurance industry being an integral part of the financial services sector that will enable the country attain its objective of a 1 trillion economy by 2030. Finally, Mr. President and my distinguished colleagues, the proposed bill as a framework law provides for basic principles, allowing details to be provided by way of regulations, and guidelines. The bill does not have any financial implications and no compendium is attached as required by Order 76, Sub 3 of the Senate Standing Orders. Mr. President, my distinguished colleagues, in view of the foregoing, I urge you all to support this bill, and I hereby move that the bill be read a second time. Thank you, Mr. President, and my distinguished colleagues. Thank you.
Thank you, the Baba Dini and Chairman, Committee on Banking and Insurance and other financial matters. This is a very technical bill, and it's good that towards the end you summarized it. So look at the summary so that you can be able to give your make your intervention. Let me yield the floor. Sorry, we have the newly minted chief whip, so you should be allowed to make your intervention. Then we'll listen to Honorable Sani Musa and then Honorable Bino Siaro. Chief whip, you have the floor. You've forgotten the chief whip.
Okay. Mr. President of the Senate, distinguished senators, my name is Mohamed Tahir Monguno. I represent Borno North Senatorial District. First, I want to commend my chairman. I'm a member of the committee and very active member for that matter, for a very detailed and very robust presentation in the course of arguing for the second reading of this bill. And though as lay as I am in the field of insurance and banking industry, in the course of his argument, he has broadened my horizon about the nitty-gritty of the operations of the insurance and banking industry and the lacuna inherent for which this bill seeks to address. Well, from my layman's perspective, and having interacted closely with the insurance industry in this country, I think the need for this bill will not be overemphasized. We are all victims of the nonchalant performance of the insurance industry, to the effect that they don't honor their commitment, and this is purely as a result of lack of proper regulation and coordination of their activities. Mr. President, distinguished senators, if the insurance industry is properly coordinated and regulated, it has the potential of contributing significantly to our gross domestic product, with all the attendant advantage of creating employment for our teeming unemployed youths. And laws are not supposed to be static, they are supposed to change with the changing nature of society. Therefore, what this bill seeks to do is to harmonize the avalanche of laws governing the insurance industry in this country into one single legal framework for the purpose of moving the insurance industry forward. So I urge my colleagues to support the second reading of this bill. Thank you.
Chairman, Senate Committee on Finance, Senator Sani Musa, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Mohammed Sani Musa, representing Niger East Senatorial District. Mr. President, my distinguished colleagues, I will also join the new Chief Whip of the Senate in commending and congratulating the mover of this bill. It cannot be overemphasized that the insurance industry in Nigeria is lagging, because there is need for us to reposition it, and the only way we can do it is by way of bringing such a reform bill. The Nigerian insurance industry has been operating out of context compared to the international best practices. If you go to other climes, especially those countries that have advanced economically, you will see that insurance play major parts of the aspects of that advancement they attained. Today in Nigeria, apart from marine insurance, which has become very important and compulsory when you are dealing with items of importation, especially trade across our shores, all other aspects of insurance is relegated. The motor vehicle insurance, those days that before you drive, you must insure your vehicle. Today, I can tell you almost 95% of vehicles in Nigeria are not insured. Talk less of the people, the third party liabilities that also goes with it. That is the passengers that you carry in your vehicles. Commercial vehicles fly our roads today. There is nothing like insurance cover. The only insurance, resemblance of insurance you can find today in Nigeria also is the air passenger insurance, which of course, if we don't amend our laws to go with the way others do, we will not even see the benefits of it. And when you come to the area of increasing our revenue drive, insurance industry is one sector that will be able to give this country enough of money to take care of other necessities. So I believe this bill is coming at the right time, especially with the renewed hope agenda of the present administration. Once this thing passed and we are able to enact this law, I think this administration will have done a very great thing for this country. So I move that we support this bill.
Thank you, Senator Binos. Dr. Arrow, you have the floor.
Yeah.
Let's
Thank
2
you.
minutes each so that others can speak. Then we can get done with the bill. 2 minutes.
Okay, thank you, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues. My name is Binos Dauda Yaro. I represent Adamawa South. And I also join my colleagues that have spoken before me in commending my chairman, because I'm also a member of the committee, for bringing this bill that seeks to consolidate the plethora of acts in the insurance industry. Mr. President, consolidating this bill, the laws into one act, will make it easier for the regulation of that industry. If you look at the banking sector, for example, you have only CBN that regulates all aspects of banking, whether it is commercial banking, investment banking, mortgage banking, or even microfinance banking. CBN is the apex regulator of that industry. So it is important for the insurance sector, like the chairman finance has said, in other climes, insurance companies actually own banks because they have existed before banks and they do much more and they have more funds that enable them to even own banks. So this bill is very, very important, and in my view, when it is passed, it will bring a revolution in the insurance industry that will also improve the economy. So as my brand new chief whip always says, I urge my colleagues to pass this bill with the speed of light. I so submit.
Thank you. I'll now yield the floor to the former leader of the Senate, Senator Abdullahi. Thereafter, another former leader of the Senate, Senator Ningi, will have the floor, and then we'll round up and then put the question for the.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would like to first congratulate my Thank you, Mr. President. I would just like to first of all congratulate my friend Senator Abiru for this very, very important initiative. I think the passage of this bill will mark one of the greatest achievements, in the economic sector and the financial sector of this country if we are able to consolidate all the pieces of legislation, regarding insurance. It appears just like some of the earlier commentators and earlier presenters of this bill have said, uh, this particular bill is a onerous attempt to bring the insurance sector together under one single piece of legislation. And this is important for the economy of this country, particularly because insurance is one area where capital, which is required for development and investment in the real sector of the economy, can be derived. And it's also an area where people can invest because risks are reduced through insurance. The major challenges that we have faced and that are becoming very acute today in our economy is the source of investment capital that can be used to revitalize the industrial sector of our economy and also revitalize our infrastructure. Now, with the very vigorous and well managed insurance institution, we can be able to have access to that kind of capital. I do not want to take a lot of your time, but I want to say that this is one piece of legislation that should have priority for passage in this Senate. And I hope by the time it reaches the president, it will get fast assent so that we can be able to really put our own house in order. Thank you very much, Mr. President.
Thank you, the former leader, for speaking within the time given to you. And now you the floor to Senator Ningi, thereafter Senator Vito Omi, and then for gender balance, former Deputy Governor of Lagos will round up the debate, and then we go to the next stage of processing.
Thank you,
the
Mr.
bill.
President. Senator Abdul Ningi, representing Bauchi Central. Mr. President, this is a very brilliant legislation. And looking and reading and perusing through the lead debate, one will understand the very financial mind that the sponsor of the bill intends to make. Mr. President, you recall in the 70s and 80s, while we were very young people, insurance was almost at par with banking. But over the last 2-3 decades, insurance has lost steam. Nigerians, on the average, don't even understand what is insurance. Nigerians, on the average, don't trust insurance. It is left in the hands of very few people who hardly make available information as to the need of and importance of insurance. And you recall, Mr. Senate President, globally speaking, one of the cardinal bedrock of economic development is, of course, insurance. And therefore, if you look at the development, even within the African continent, look at South Africa, look at Egypt, one of their mainstay of why the economy is so galvanized is actually insurance. And I am very positive, in consonant with a lot of speakers about this particular bill. This is one bill that will offshoot the name of the National Assembly and the Senate in particular. And I believe when we pass this into a second reading and take it to public hearing, it will galvanize insurance as an industry. It will showcase the importance of insurance, and people from out and within will be able to now say, we understand the importance of insurance, and people will now come to invest in making sure that insurance become what it used to be in the last 3 decades ago. So I believe everybody that is seated here should support this bill because it's important, it's germane, it's apt, and it's timely. Thank you very much.
Senator Victor Ome, you have 1 minute.
Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Senator Victor Ume. Mr. President, I rise to commend the Senate Committee on Banking and Finance for this well-articulated insurance reform bill. Insurance has not been able to do its work in Nigeria because all risks can be insured in business, in all activities, in all human endeavors. You can take insurance, even to life insurance as well when somebody dies. The bane of our insurance industry in Nigeria is in the inability to settle claims. When claims are not settled, when the insured risk or event occurs, it undermines the credibility of the industry. So I've read this lead debate paragraph by paragraph, and I can see that they have come out with this reform bill to make the insurance industry more effective in Nigeria. So I wholesomely support it for the work they have done in it. Some of us, Mr. President, in 2007, during the stock armada, shares and all that, I was one of the victims that invested so much in insurance companies. And most of them have gone extinct. All those monies lost. Yet, even investing in stocks and shares can be insured. In the case of a company closing down after buying their shares, the insurance company will settle you and pay you for those risks. So our insurance industry is not dynamic. And this reform, which they are bringing out now, will help us a lot, imbue confidence on investors, in undertaking certain ventures in Nigeria. So I wholly support it. And I urge my colleagues to support it so that we'll pass it and have a robust and active, responsive insurance industry in Nigeria. Thank you very much.
Thank you. You may off your mic. I now give the floor to Senator Adebule Idiat Oluranti.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, my name is Idiat Oluranti Adebule. I represent the good people of Lagos West. And I can assure you, sir, that I'm not going to take your time like Senator Ume did. I'm going to be brief. I rise to support the second reading of this bill in view of my conviction behind the principle, and the principle behind the presentation of the bill. I must also commend my chairman, Senator Adetokunbo Abiru, for bringing forth this bill, because it's not only going to rekindle the hope of our people, it's also going to assist them as much as possible to trust the insurance industry as well. And of course, it will promote policyholders and stakeholders in trust in investing in the insurance company, and considering the fact that it's going to promote job opportunity for our people. Majority of what is happening around, what they're saying around now, is that they need more jobs. And if we are able to finalize on this bill, I can assure you it's going to create an opportunity for our young ones to get employment. And looking at the investment that is going to come in about ₦1 trillion, I want to give my total support for this bill and urge my colleagues and everyone to support this bill for the second reading and the good passage of the bill. Thank you. I so submit.
Thank you very much, the former Deputy Governor of Lagos and Chairman of the Committee of Poverty Alleviation of the Senate. Let me commend the sponsor of this well put or crafted bill, who did a very good job in coming forward with this bill. And also commend those who contributed in the debates in respect of the second reading of this bill. The fact is that the insurance industry is one of the pillars of every economy. Any economy that does not have an open doing industry, insurance industry, will not be said to be in a good shape. Therefore, it is commendable that Senator Mankaila Adetokuma Abiru has brought forward this bill in order to put our insurance industry in the best shape, so that it goes along as a sound industry in our contemporary Nigeria. This is a welcome development. It's on this note that I put the question that those in favor that this bill now be read the second time, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. The ayes have it. The clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, a bill for an act to repeal the Insurance Act, Cap I-17, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, the Marine Insurance Act, Cap M3, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, the Motor Vehicles Third-Party Insurance Act, Cap M22, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, the National Insurance Corporation of Nigeria Act, Cap N54, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, the Nigeria Reinsurance Corporation Act, Cap N131, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, to provide for a comprehensive legal and regulatory framework for the insurance business in Nigeria and for related matters 2024, SB 393, second reading.
A bill for an act to repeal the Insurance Act, Cap 117, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, the Motor Vehicles Third-Party Insurance Act, Cap M22, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, the National Insurance Corporation of Nigeria Act, Cap N54, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, the Nigerian Reinsurance Corporation Act, Cap N131, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, to provide for a comprehensive legal and regulatory framework for insurance business in Nigeria and for related matters 2024, second reading taken. The bill is referred to the committee. It happens that the sponsor is also the chairman of the committee. Committee on Banking, Insurance, and other financial institutions, and to report back within 2 weeks. So, Baba Adini, you sponsored the bill, and now the bill has been referred to your committee. So, I'm sure you give it the best treatment. The leader of the Senate.
Mr. Senate President, distinguished colleague, the third order of the day is second reading of the South-South Development Commission, Establishment Bill 2024 SB 358. The distinguished senator will recall that the bill was read for the first time in this chamber on Thursday, 22 February 2024. Mr. President, you may wish to invite Senator Agadaga to move the motion for the bill to be read the second time.
Well, Mr. Gadaga, you may wish to move that the bill be read a second time on behalf of the sponsors, Senator Asuku Ekwenyo. You have the floor.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, Chief Benson Sunday Agadaga is my name. I speak for the people of Bayelsa East Senatorial District of Bayelsa State, South-South Nigeria. Lead debate on the South-South Development Commission Establishment Bill 2024 SB 358. Sponsor, Senator Asuko Ekwenyo, Cross River South, and all South-South senators. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, permit me on behalf of Senator Asuko and other South-South senators to lead the debate on the general principles of the bill for an act to establish the South-South Development Commission, charged with the responsibility to receive, manage funds from the Federation account allocation and other sources, donations, grants, aids for the integration, development, resolution of infrastructural deficits, militancy, communal crisis, as well as tackle ecological, environmental problems, and for related matters. This bill was read for the first time in this chamber on Thursday, 22nd February 2024. The bill seeks to provide for the establishment of South-South Development Commission to act as a catalyst to address socio-economic issues, climate change crisis, environmental degradation, ecological challenges occasioned by oil exploration in the region, among others. The South-South geopolitical zone comprises of the following states: Akwa Ibom, Bayelsa, Cross River, Delta State, Edo, and River State. The main objectives of the bill are: A, formulate policies and guidelines for the establishment of the South-South region. B, conceive, plan, and implement in accordance with the set rules and regulations, projects and programs for sustainable development of the South-South states in the field of transportation, including roads, health, education, employment, agriculture, industrialization, housing, and urban development, water supply, electricity, and telecommunications. C, cause the South-South states to be surveyed in order to ascertain the measures which are necessary to promote its fiscal and socio-economic development. D, prepare master plans and schemes designed to promote the fiscal development of the South-South states and the estimates of the cost of implementing such master plans and schemes. E, implement all the measures approved for the development of the South-South states by the federal government and the member states of the Commission. F, identify factors inhibiting the development of the South-South states and assist the member states in the formulation and implementation of policies to ensure sound and efficient management of the resources of the South-South states. G, assess and report on any project being funded or carried out in the South-South states by mineral extracting and mining companies, oil and gas producing companies, and any other company, including non-governmental organizations, and ensure that funds released for such projects are properly utilized. H. Tackle ecological and environmental problems that arise from the extraction, mining of solid minerals, exploration of oil minerals in the South-South states, and advise the federal government and the member states on the prevention and control of oil spillages, gas flaring, and environmental pollution, etc. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, the enactment of this bill will help to reposition the South-South region, which is the hub of the nation's main sources of revenue for development, in line with the demands of the 21st century, and provide opportunity for engagement of the youth to check issues of restiveness in the region. In line with Order 763 of our standing orders, the financial expenditure, the financial compendium for the establishment of this commission is hereby attached. Distinguished colleagues, I hereby urge my colleagues to support this bill for the second reading. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Senator Agadaga, for tabling these the lead debates on behalf of Senator Ekponyo. I now yield the floor to Senator Alero to say his contribution to this bill, to the debate on this bill.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. President, my distinguished colleagues. Mr. President, I listened attentively to the presenter or the sponsor of this bill, my very good friend, Senator Agadad. Mr. President, let us not be a laughingstock. As far back as 2007, 2006, the federal government of Nigeria, under the leadership of late Umar Musa Eradua of blessed memory, established what we call Ministry of Niger Delta. And that ministry is given the sole responsibility of providing infrastructure and developing Niger Delta. In addition to that, Mr. President, we have the NNDC Commission. And we all hailed the establishment of, or the setting up of NNDC Commission. Mr. President, I'm surprised that we are now bringing another commission, which I see as a duplication of effort, overlapping functions. Mr. President, in as much as I want to support this bill, I will find it very difficult because parliamentary practice does not allow this. You set up a commission, you have rules, regulations, and guidelines set up that, and then you come and duplicate it with another commission. Look, it would have been better if the sponsor of the bill, Senator Asuko Epeyong, come up with an amendment on the Niger Delta Commission. It will be more acceptable to the Senate and indeed the National Assembly. So on this note, Mr. President, I see no reason why we should support the second reading of this bill, because it will amount to duplication, it will amount to waste of resources, it will amount to making the National Assembly to be a laughingstock that we don't know what we are doing. So in essence, I will say that I reject the presentation of this bill. Thank you, Mr. President.
Let me take another person here, then I take two this way. Senator Ningi, you have the floor.
Mr. Chairman, my name is Senator Abdul Ningi, and I represent Bauchi Central, Bauchi State. Mr. President, by my practice in the parliament and my personal spirit, I hardly speak against a bill prepared by a member of the Senate or the House. And you recall, I was the chairman Niger Delta crisis in the House for 3 very good years. And I was also involved in presenting to the House then the issue of amnesty to the Niger Delta. I was also a co-sponsor of the Niger Delta Development Corporation. So everything about me is Niger Delta, true and true, except that I'm not from there. I've been to Niger Delta through crannies several times in the course of my assignment as a legislator. And I had cause also to also visit some European countries, all on the issue of making sure that Niger Delta gets its fair dues. Having said that, I look at the bill and I look at the objectives of this bill. For me, when you take, nobody is on the chair, so let me carry a while. So when you take the NDDC law and try to compare it with the laws presented here, there are no difference at all. There are no difference. So I would like the sponsor of the bill, even though he's not here, by some of my friends from the Niger Delta here, it is important that this bill is stood down for further consultation, because I don't want us to go out with a reasoning that some of us are against Niger Delta. Far, far from that. I want this particular bill, in my opinion, stood down, and then we consult amongst ourselves, and then possibly come up with any amendment, like suggested by Senator Alero, on the NDDC bill, so that we give them what they desire, we give them what they deserve, because they deserve much, much more than what they are getting. It is important for me to say that on record, but it is not right, after having these intervention programs, to now come up with another one. It makes people feel as if something is amiss. I beg that this bill stood down. Kasuko and Co. Some of us will put our heads together and come up with a solution to this program. I think that is, in my opinion, that is the best way going forward.
So, distinguished colleagues, is it the view of the Senate that this bill be stood down for further consultations? Those in support say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. So the bill is hereby stood down for further consultation. Leader of the Senate. Osita.
Mr. Senate President, distinguished colleague, we have two items from Committee on Trade and Investment, the fourth and the fifth order. And I think it's auspicious for us to take the two together. So the fourth order of the day is presentation and consideration of the report.
The whip.
Your Excellency, Mr. Senate President, and distinguished colleague, looking at
The mood. The mood of the Senate.
Sir?
You are looking at the mood of the Senate.
Yes, looking at the mood of the Senate and for the need to execute committee responsibility,
Particularly the maritime
and other ones,
maritime public hearing,
public hearing,
and others
and other functions.
that are seated already.
I stand to move that we should stand down all other items on the paper
to the next
till
legislative day.
legislative day. I so move.
Yes. Minority Leader.
Mr. President, I rise to second the motion that looking at the mood of the Senate and the need to carry out other legislative activities, that we stand down the other items on the other paper.
Distinguished colleagues, there is an ongoing public hearing on the maritime bill, which scales second reading, and the industry players are seated, and there will be need for a lot of you to attend that and other legislative activities, committee activities. So the motion has been moved and seconded that we stand down the other items on the other paper to the next date of proceedings. Those in support of the motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. All the items are hereby stood down. So you may move for us to adjourn.
Your Excellency, Mr. Senate President, I move that the Senate to do adjourn till Tuesday, the 23rd of July at 11 prompt.
Yes, Minority Leader.
Mr. President, I hereby second the motion that the Senate is hereby adjourned to Tuesday next week. I so second.
The motion has been moved and seconded that this Senate stands adjourned to the 23rd day of July 2024, which is a Tuesday at 11 a.m. prompt. Those in support of the motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Accordingly, the Senate is hereby adjourned.